Okay, it's howdy doody time again. I am putting these things back together now, and I have learned a few more things along the way here I thought I'd share. Uh, the brown set, an old swing star, the blue set, Rockstar DXs. I cut down the high toms and put the new bearing edges on all these. Uh, Two different sets I'm putting back together here. And each time I put one together, I put it on the kit and I play it, and man, I'm just loving the way they sound. The smile gets bigger and bigger each time. The happy factor is turned up to 11, man. It's awesome. But the other thing I wanted to say is I'm doing this, with the Rockstar and the old Swing Star. The Rockstar I paid $300 for, 6-piece kit. The Swing Star, parts of it I've had since the early 90s. And then I got two toms from Music Go Round for $25 that I use on the brown set too. The brown set's the one I'm sort of calling it the shabby chic kind of look. I'm not worried about the look so much, but I want it to sound like $1,000,000. And man, it seems like mission accomplished. I can't believe it. But my point is the beauty in these things, and if you do start taking them out and playing somewhere, even if you're out playing on stage and you want to Keith Moon these things and throw it at the guitar player or something, it's an inexpensive set. If something happens to it out and about, all the million things that can happen to a drum set, not a huge deal. These are inexpensive drums, and you know how they're made. You know how to make another one. If something just happens to one drum, they're out there. They made 1,000,000 of these things, so that's part of the beauty of them. It's way better. Leave your DWs at home. Your couple $1,000 set. There's no reason to take them out to some place you've never been, or a bar or something. They get beer spilled on them. And then they sound like $1,000,000, so that's part of the beauty of this. But also a great place to start, so you're not destroying if you want to do this to a more expensive kit. But anyway, the downside can be, this drum, when I'm putting it back together, I put all older Remo heads on these too, which I've switched kind of to Evans, and they're so dang easy to tune, man. These Remos are sounding awesome. But I put this one on there, and there's still a little rattle in it. So I take the head off, make sure everything's tight. Everything's tight, everything's good. I don't know if the camera will show this, but there's a little dent in that head right there. And on the other underside, there's also a little divot. So I took this head off, and I put this Evans head on here. No more rattles. I mean, they sound awesome. So that's one problem I ran into. And so then I'm putting this, this blue floor tom back together. And, it was the 14-inch. I should mention this too. I'm putting the 14-inch back together, and I find a, broken lug. I don't know if the camera will get that. I found 6 broken lugs that came off those 2 toms that I got. I was switching to these Taiwan-made lugs that look kind of like, I like them because they look like a Ludwig lug. Tama ended up getting sued by Ludwig because of that. But, so I found these later models. These are made out of some kind of cast pot metal. And they started making them back out of this zinc or whatever, the same lugs that they make the Swing Stars out of. So none of these have broke. But these cast ones break. I've never seen a Swing Star lug ever break, and I've had several of them kits. So that was a rattle problem I found on that other drum. So I put this is the floor tom that started all these videos. I put the thing back together. I still got a little rattle in it. So I take it all back apart. Everything's tight. I don't have any of those cast lugs on it. I got rid of them. Here's what the problem is. You take a look at this head right here. Looks perfectly good, but it's one of these heads that it's just crimped on there. The collar is just crimped on. It's one of these cheap UT heads, but to me, that's where the rattle is. Believe it or not, you got glue in these Remos and Evans head. I don't know if you can see the glue in there, but that's my theory. These heads that the collar is just crimped on there and not glued, they'll rattle. That's garbage, man. Get rid of it. So then, anyway, I pulled that head off there, and you know, all good lugs, no rattling. And now we get to the, you know, the braggadocious part of the story, or maybe I've been bragging this whole time. I don't know, but this thing's got more bottom end than your mama now, man. I'm telling you, listen to this thing. And I can hear the ductwork rattling, but that ain't this drum. And as drummers, ain't that why we do it? To rattle some shit in the room, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want rattling heads, but rattling skulls. That's cool.